Hello and welcome to another episode of I'm Just Saying. Here I'm your host at Shelly D, and I also have my guest host with me at Dad Starts. Welcome at Dad Starts. How are you?
Hey, good to be back. How everybody doing?
Everybody's doing
blessed out there, staying safe.
Yeah, great. Everybody's doing pretty good today. At least I am. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about: are you hearing or listening?
Okay.
This is going to be a very, very good subject on today at Dad Starts, simply because how many people gets this confused?
Just about everybody on the planet.
Pretty much, I agree with you. Just about everyone that I know of, including myself.
Yeah.
I have had trouble with whether I have heard someone or I'm really listening to them, or if I'm just hearing them.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, when I'm hearing them, I'm walking away without an understanding. So we'll just start there. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the hearing part of it.
Okay.
So again, like I always do each episode, I'm just saying, I give you a quick definition because sometimes we can use words every day and feel like we know exactly what they mean, like we know exactly how to define the word, what the exact terminology is, and when we really break down the definition of a term, at least for me, I never really knew or understood what that word meant, in depth.
Right.
So for hearing, I found out it's the ability to perceive sound noises, tones, or any type of vibration through your ear.
Okay.
So that can mean anything at Dad Starts. Like, so for example, you can hear music, that's vibrations going through your ear. You can hear someone talking like we're doing on this podcast.
Right.
You hear that. You can hear a baby crying in the background, a siren from an emergency vehicle.
Right.
So we hear these things. These are all things that go through our ear, sound waves, vibrations, tones, and noises, right?
Right.
But are we really we just hear them? Are they just like subconsciously? Are they like in the back of our mind, something that we just can ignore? Or we could just avoid? What do you think about hearing?
I think hearing, like you said, is just acknowledging that there is a sound present.
Right.
Acknowledging that you heard whatever somebody else heard. For example, if you hear thunder and it scares everybody, we all could be on the same page. If you said, "Did you hear that?" and everybody says, "Yes."
Absolutely. Right. Great example of thunder. Those are the vibrations and sound waves.
Right.
So let's identify in more depth what just hearing is.
Okay.
For the audience and people who are watching who don't know, when you hear something again, it's just the acknowledgement of a sound.
Right.
It's on accident. Like if you're driving your car down the street and you hear the EMS or you hear a police siren going off, we hear those every day, so most people aren't like panic or anything about it. We can kind of tune them out, for lack of a better word. We can just ignore it. So it's like on accident. We can just hear something, we don't really pay attention to it. Hearing is involuntary.
Right.
We don't have to actively hear anything. We can just hear whatever. It doesn't matter. Also, hearing is effortless.
Right.
We've been hearing since most people, of course, been hearing since the day they were born. They can hear things. The hearing starts developing in the womb. When they come out, guess what? They develop hearing. And most people who are not deaf, they can hear.
You're right.
And so they can hear sounds, they can hear, noises and tones and things of that nature.
Right.
Let's get a little bit deeper at Dad Starts.
Oh boy.
So when we're having a conversation,
Yes.
because this podcast is definitely about addressing and confronting those hard conversations.
Right.
So let's take hearing related to hearing someone in a conversation, right?
Right.
You have someone you're discussing something with, and one of the main things that will let you know that person is just hearing you and not listening to you?
If I had to guess, say checking for understanding. Every now and again, do you understand what I'm saying? Or
Right.
what do you think? Something like that. You be like, oh, you gotta repeat it all back to me.
Absolutely. The biggest thing that I found in my research is when a person is just hearing you, they will look at you with a dazed look, like a blank stare. They're not really attentively focused on you. Again, it's effortless. When a person who's just hearing what you're saying in conversation, they don't remember anything. The memory is completely lost at this point.
You're Right.
You know what I think about all the time is like, you remember on I think it's Charlie Brown with I forget the little bird name is always like wonk 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 wonk.
Yes, the teacher.
Yeah, that's exactly how when people are not, they're not listening but they're just hearing you, the sound goes through one ear and out the other ear.
You're right.
There's no retention in what you're saying. They can't repeat what you're saying. They can't, remember what you're saying. One of the biggest things in a person where you can truly identify if when you go back to them, if they really heard what you said or listened to what you said or they was just hearing you, is there's no change in behavior.
Exactly. You're not getting no type of reaction.
Right.
For example, if they're not listening and they're hearing you, you can literally insult them the whole conversation.
Absolutely.
Just to see if they're paying any attention and they're just in their phone or something.
Absolutely. You know what it's called? Those major distractions.
Yes. Yeah.
They're coming into a conversation not even trying to hear what a person is saying. And it's effortless.
Right.
They don't have to volunteer to listen to you. They can just come in involuntary, make no effort. And again, it's most of what you're saying is on accident. And if they hear anything and they do retain it, it wasn't on purpose. There was no intention about them, hearing what you said or listening to what you said. It was just, oh, yeah, okay, I heard that or whatever.
Yep.
Another example of people just hearing, like, you know how you can be watching a TV program and as that show goes on, you're not really focused on the channel. You're not looking at the television or anything like that. But you can hear, some words coming out. You may hear the background people laughing or something. But by the time the 30-minute show goes off, you're like, I don't know, what was the episode about? Like,
Watch it all over again.
What?
Yeah.
Like, nobody even knows. So that's just when someone hears you. What becomes frustrating about a person who just hearing you and not listening to you is the simple fact that when another person is passionate about the discussion, the conversation, it's almost like an insult.
It is.
It's a disrespect.
Totally.
Have you ever been in a position where you want to be heard, you want the other person that you're talking to listen to you so you can see some changes in behavior, so they can regurgitate it back to you. When I check in, hey, do you remember what I said? What did I say?
Right.
And then they're looking at you again with that blank stare like, I don't freaking know what you said.
Right.
I don't know. And it just makes you feel like it's not important. It's not relevant.
You're wasting your time.
You're wasting your time.
Wall. Yeah, it's horribly frustrating.
Right.
Yes.
It's one of the most frustrating things I think that will, trigger people to, again, like last episode we were talking about speaking up or talking loud. When someone's not listening to you, but you're trying to be passionate, guess what happens? You get frustrated, you get upset, and you get angry. So now guess what you're doing? You're talking loud.
Yes.
You're screaming at them because you want them so desperately to hear what you got to say, to listen to what you're saying. You don't want it just to go in one ear and out the other. You want to really see some changes in behavior. They're so easily distracted. Another main key is from a person who only hears you. When they leave the conversation, they're left totally confused. Totally confused. That's why there's no change. So the next time this same issue comes up again, they're still at square one.
Exactly.
You're thinking that, you got through, you effectively communicated to them, they listened to what you're saying, and then here we are revisiting the exact same thing. You just want to pull your hair out. It's like, come on.
Right.
Come on, dude.
Right. There's no point of having the conversations if you're not going to listen instead of hear, and we can grow and learn and move on from the situation of the issue.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, it can be
it can be a major deal breaker.
Yes.
It can be a divide in the relationship.
Yeah.
I've had relationships in my own experience where when my partner or either my family member, my mother, I don't think they're listening to me, and I get emotional.
Right.
I'm upset and I don't know how to really address it.
Okay.
And now I'm just angry because I'm like, what I'm saying and what I'm telling you to me is relevant. It's important. I'm passionate about this. This is the reason why we're having this conversation. If we wasn't having this conversation and we was out at the ballpark, I don't expect for you to listen to anything I'm saying. We're at a concert.
Right.
I don't want you to listen to what I'm saying. It's loud music playing in the background.
Right.
But if we're having an intentional conversation, I want you to listen to me. I'm expressing myself because I'm trying to convey something to you.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so it just can be one of those things that a lot of people, you know, there will be failed relationships because the other person didn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
Or they didn't understand. They didn't get clarity because they was distracted.
Right.
You know, we have our cell phones, right?
Mm-hmm.
How often do we get distracted by cell phones? And when someone is really trying to talk to us and speak to us and for us to listen to them.
Too often.
Easy.
Right.
Even with, you know, your kids, you know, they could be trying to tell you about their day at school, but you got your cell phone there because, you know, you're doing things too, trying to multitask,
Right.
which is a distraction because a lot of people, although there are some great multitaskers out there, let's be honest.
Right.
You can't do 100 things and truly listen to someone talking.
It's almost impossible.
So we have distractions like the cell phone. We have distractions like people trying to talk at the same time. So I can't listen what you're saying and you can listen to what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
It just can become a major confusion.
Right.
And so at the end of the conversation, there has been no resolve. There's no positive result. It's just totally empty. A waste of time.
Right. I totally agree. Like I said, coming from a management background, you pick up and you learn and you trained professionally and then just based
Right.
off your own experience. So whenever I needed something to make sure somebody was paying attention, you have to create that environment.
Right.
And first thing I would always do, Michelle, I would always is that a good time? Like, you got a minute to talk. You know what I'm saying? That kind of sets the tone right there. And then if it's a distracting area, I would always remove them from that area so there's a sidebar so it could just be the only distraction is each other.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you just I think you gotta become better skilled at making sure that because you can sometimes you just gotta use common sense. If they're busy and you see a lot going on, like you can't just come in there, and just start talking. They're distracted. They were distracted because something else was a priority at the same time.
Absolutely.
So you can't get mad if they weren't listening if they're already doing 30 things.
Absolutely, that's a great point.
Talk about something passionate to them at that time, right?
Right, you want to bring
a
relevant issue to someone who is basically, they're not even getting it. You know, they don't really know what you're saying, you know?
Right.
So yeah, that you raise a very